Hey, welcome back to Two Old Geeks Talking. I'm Rob.
I'm Trace.
And today we're discussing Justice League, the animated series.
Awesome.
So,
man. Hey, first of all, it's good to see you.
Good to see you too.
You know, people always say that if you have a YouTube channel, you should make a video like a couple times a week.
Right.
You know, and we do once a month, so we're really we're kind of breaking the mode. But it's hard for us to get together more than that.
Yeah, and life jumps in your way.
Yeah. You've been ill not too long ago, and I had vacation, and I was out of the state, so, you know, we're just barely squeezing it in by the end of the month.
That's all right. That's all that matters. Is that we
got so Justice League.
Justice League.
Tell me about Justice League, brother, because I know jack squad about it.
So we're not talking about the comic book of Justice League. We're talking about the animated series.
Okay.
And the animated series come after the cuffs of the Batman animated and Superman animated series.
So is it all in the same universe?
It is all in the same universe because when they developed it, let me throw you some stats first. Justice League ran from 2001 to 2004, and it was made by of course, Warner Brothers, of course, because they own the rights to it. But it was played on Cartoon Network, and it was also, owned by DC, of course. But Bruce Timm, I'm sorry, I always get those mixed up. It's like two first names. Bruce Timm was doing the animated series for Batman, and then he did the animated series for Superman. So it's kind of like, you know how the MCU came together at the end? Yeah. And then all the Justice League movies came together at the end?
Yes.
They almost did that with the animated series first.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, they did it first kind of thing.
So first of all, I know Bruce Timm just because I'm a fan of comic art.
Right.
And I love Bruce Timm's art. I mean, it's fantastic. I mean, sometimes I'll get online and just like put in Bruce Timm Iron Fist or Bruce Timm Hawkeye, and you know, just a lot of his commission worked. You know, so I mean, there's a lot of his art out there. So I just really like his style. And but even though I'm a big Bruce Timm fan, I've watched one episode of Justice League.
Just one?
Just because you told me you were getting ready to do Justice League. And for some reason, you know, I'm a huge Avengers fan, but I just never could, you know, growing up, he was DC and I was Marvel, but we still loved each other. but I just never quite got into DC. So which come first? Justice League was Justice League formed in the comic books before Avengers? I think it was, wasn't it?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah.
Actually, it was the Justice Society came out first before the Justice League. Then Marvel decided to do the Avengers because of the Justice Society.
Okay.
Then Justice League kind of spun off the Justice Society.
All right, I'm with you.
All right.
Okay.
So anyway, Tim Bruce, along with Dan Roba, who was a director, James Tucker, which was a producer, and the late Dwayne McDuffie, who did the comic book and cartoon of Static Shock. He was the creator. He created it, made the comic book, and made the cartoon. How awesome that you could do all three. That was pretty cool. Very talented man. World's a little less bright because he's gone, but we'll move on. Thank you. So anyway, of course we have the top 7, and the only thing that differs from the cartoon is that they removed Aquaman from the top 7 and replaced Aquaman with Hawkgirl.
Okay, so you say 7, but my math's not real good, but there looks like there's more than 7.
Well, okay, so the original first season, you had Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Hawkgirl, Green Lantern, Flash, and Martian Manhunter. That was it. That was the top 7. Let's see. That's Justice League.
Yeah, season 1. Yeah.
Yeah, no. That's unlimited.
Oh,
This is season 1.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Of Justice League. And then this is season 2. So, from the comic books, how it differed is 2 different ways. One, they replaced Aquaman with Hawkgirl, and they replaced the Green Lantern, who we grew up with. Our Green Lantern was Hal Jordan, right?
Right.
So, but a lot of generation from kids that grew up in the 2000s, their Green Lantern is John Stewart. So anyway, you had Superman, who was voiced in the cartoons by Tim Daly. He was the actor from the television show Wings. But
I watched a little bit of that.
So when they moved on to the Justice League, what they did, Tim Daly got busy. He moved on and couldn't play the role no more. So they got a George Newbern, if I'm pronouncing his right name properly, and how Superman's look changed from the anime series to the Justice League cartoon is they did age him a little bit. They put a couple of little lines underneath his face, and they added a little silver in the hair. Which
did Kevin Conroy do the Batman?
Yes. He reprised his role from the animated series and did it in the Justice League as well. Now here's a little funny thing. So when was we at the Lexington Comic Con?
About a month ago.
So about a month ago, I got yelled at by George.
Yeah.
Yep. And he was like, "Hey George," and I was like, "Robert." He's like, "Holy crap!" He said, "Come here." So I went over and he's like, "I just got through working with George R.R. Martin."
Yeah.
He said, "For about 2 weeks." He says, "You make a better looking George R.R. Martin than George R.R. Martin." And I was like,
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to have to admit to my fans, to our fans, apparently I look like George R.R. Martin, because of a guy who just got through working with him.
Yeah.
Thinks that I look like George
Well,
R.R.
in the comments section, they do say a lot of, hey, does anybody ever say?
And it's like I didn't go out of my way to talk to this guy. He drew me over there to him.
Now, that's the guy that does the voice for who?
Superman.
That's kind of cool, though.
Yeah, I mean, he had no problem talking to me because he thought I was somebody else. So, like you said, Batman went on to be rode by Kevin Conroy. His looks changed from the animated series into this series. Is they went back to their roots and tried to make them look more like they did in the Golden Age. So Batman slimmed up a little bit.
Yeah.
His bat went from the yellow back to the big black bat, and his ears got longer. Okay. So they kind of altered his look a tad there. Wonder Woman was portrayed and acted by Susan Eisenberg, is her name. Green Lantern, like I said, his name was John Stewart, and he was voiced by Phil Lamar, and you might know him better as Samurai Jack.
Samurai Jack, yeah.
Very talented voice.
Yeah, he does good. Yeah, I was really surprised when I found out he did Samurai Jack.
And what I like about this Green Lantern is all the Green Lanterns we grew up with had the little diamond mask.
Yeah.
This is the first Green Lantern that never had the diamond mask.
Yeah.
But what was really cool is they kind of showed his powers through his eyes because they left his pupils growing green. So it was kind of like a nod to what his strength is.
Probably the only comic book our father ever read. He read a little bit of Green Lantern when he was younger.
Now this is a different Green Lantern.
Oh I know.
He has more of a military background, which kind of helped play it off everybody. He was more trained, more put together. These people were just superpower people fighting, but he had some training, so it was kind of cool to have him in there in the mix as well. Of course, we had Flash, which is Wally West, voiced by Michael Rosenberg, who played. He was doing dual parts at the time he was voicing Flash. He was doing Lex Luthor in the television series Smallville.
Didn't you have a comic where Flash raced Superman?
I did.
Yeah. Who won?
I don't remember.
I bet you it was a tie. That sounded like something they would do.
Yeah, probably. Let's see. So, Martian Manhunter, which is better known as John Jones, is voiced by Carl Lumbly, and Hawkgirl is voiced by Maria Canales Barrera. Now, I got to talk to her. My wife is a big fan of Hawkgirl, and we got a lecture from her that lasted 30 minutes.
Oh, yeah?
Can you imagine being able to sit and talk to somebody for 30 minutes, but you're not saying a word because they're preaching at you?
Oh, yeah? Yeah.
She had seen somebody at the con walking around with a monkey on their shoulder.
Yeah, yeah.
And she wanted to send it to her daughter.
Yeah.
And she's like, can y'all wait? I want to send this to my daughter and I know as soon as she sees it, she's going to want this monkey.
Yeah.
And I said, well, my daughter would want the monkey skull because she's into that kind of thing and she collects skulls.
Yeah.
We got a preaching. We got a preaching for 30 minutes on how we should raise our daughter and correct her and keep her from...
By Hawk Girl.
By Hawk Girl.
Yeah, that's
by
great.
The mother from Wizards of Waverly Place.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. I bet you your wife Mary really enjoyed that, didn't she?
Yeah, she just was sitting there going,
Yeah,
okay, all right. But she really is a sweet gal. Let's see, Lex Luthor. Okay, so now I'm moving on into a couple of villains because I love my villains, right?
Yeah, that's the thing when you got a super team like, say, the Avengers or Justice League. I mean, you got to have a pretty massive villain,
right,
for all these superheroes to
and
be
that's
challenged.
one thing they said. They said this was really a hard season to do, the first season, because who do you throw at this group of people?
Yeah.
I mean, they can take on pretty much anything. So who do you throw at them?
I think it was aliens in the first season, wasn't it?
Yeah, some of the very first episodes kind of brought them together. Yeah. So anyway, Lex Luthor was actually voiced by one of my favorite actors, Clancy Brown.
Mm-hmm. I like
Kurgan.
Kurgan. Yeah, he's pretty cool.
How awesome is that?
Yeah.
I just love his voice.
Yeah.
You could put his voice to a Mickey Mouse face, and I would listen to it all day. And then another voice actor who reprised his role is Mark Hamill as the Joker. So
He does a good Joker. Probably the best Joker.
yeah, there's good Jokers. He is the Joker, in my opinion, in our generation. And he also did the voice for Solomon Grundy for this cartoon.
He also played Luke Skywalker. Didn't he?
Oh, no, I didn't know that. Really? Oh, I'll have to look that up. So another thing about the Joker I thought was funny, I found out while looking some of this stuff up, is that they originally asked Tim Curry to play the Joker. Mm-hmm. And he did a couple of episodes for this, and then they were like, nah, we got to stick with Mark. Mark's the man.
Yeah, he's the man.
Yep. So another person I want to bring up, and she's a superstar without being a superstar, is the voice director. She has such a big following, and she's not even on social media. Her name is Andrea Romans, and she's the one that pulls out the essence from these actors. They are talented people, but she has the ability to get them to do what needs to be done. To, do this, do that, say it this way, say it that way, and they all brag on her whenever you interview her. Now, then the second season rolled around. Now, the great thing about this is one of the first cartoons to be filmed in widescreen. The second season, they decided to do a widescreen version because they knew eventually this would go to DVD. They knew it would go to other formats, and so they started to record it in widescreen. So when you watched it on TV, you are not actually getting the whole picture, and it's not until you get it on the DVDs that you get to see the whole picture. That is, unless you've got a widescreen TV back then. Let's see. Then, after these two seasons, they came out with this movie called Starcross, and it was like the cherry.
The movie?
Huh?
Is this the
That's
movie?
the movie.
Yeah.
Oh no. Let's see. This is the movie.
Oh, okay.
This is the movie, Starcross.
Yeah.
So this was like the cherry on the end of it. They never really expected to do any more after this. They really was going to make this the end. And
So this kind of wrapped up the whole series?
it was
and
supposed to
everything?
wrap it up, right? And they were making Hawk Girl be a double agent. She was actually turning against the Justice League.
That's interesting.
Right, because she was working with a whole race of people that was going to be taking over the planet.
Yeah.
And she knew all their weaknesses. And it was kind of like mind-blowing. They ended up having to use the Watchtower, which at that time was a satellite in the sky. And they literally had to use it and bring it down to take out the enemy. Mm-hmm. It was crazy. And it was like, and they were at their lowest and low. And that's where they were going to stop it.
It's pretty much known in the geek community that DC makes the best animation.
I think they make the best animated movies.
Yeah,
right.
and I mean, DC animation is like off the chart as far as popularity.
Right.
And it's funny because their cinematic universe is real hit and miss, and it gets a lot of criticism. And then you go to Marvel, and it's total opposite. You know, their focus is on their cinematic universe, and then their animated features are real hit and miss. You know, so it's almost like backwards.
Well, you can't have your cake and eat it. Some people are good at one thing, other people are good at others.
Yeah, but you would think if I was the head of DC and my animation division was doing so good, and it makes this much money, and my cinematic universe could make this much money, I'd probably take those people and switch them around.
And I've actually said that. I've watched some of the cartoons, and I at the end of it, I'd be like, this is what you should make your movie out of, is this cartoon. But like you said, it's kind of the other way around. Let's see, what else did I got? So after Starcrossed, there was basically the fans. It was the popularity. The fans decided, hey, we want more. We want more. So then they come out with Justice League Unlimited.
So instead of just doing a season 3, they called it something totally different.
Right. They moved on and done something different.
Was the animation
they brought on some different directors and stuff. Okay. The animation was the same. What changed majorly was the cast. Instead of having the top 7, then you had people brought in like Green Arrow, The Question, and Animal Man. They asked DC. They's like, okay, which one of our properties are we allowed to use? Can we have in the background? You know, you'll see a background where somebody will scan through a lunchroom, and you'll see a character, and you'll be like, was that so and so?
Yeah.
You might not even see them again in the cartoons at all.
So they put all these cameos and stuff.
And DC was like, yeah, go for it. Use whoever you want. Just, pick and choose whoever you want. And so they had like Booster Gold and all kinds of awesome characters. Dr. Fate. They were bringing people out of the woodworks and actually brought some people back into popularity. So when they brought in Green Arrow, he was like, these guys were like monster killers. They fought world people, people that could take down worlds. Yeah. And he was more of a, I'm going to take down the guy that's robbing the grocery store down
Green
the street.
Arrow?
Right.
Yeah. But you're a huge Green Arrow fan.
I love any character like Batman or Green Arrow who's not got a superpower.
Yeah.
Who has, I'm going to use my wits, I'm going to use my abilities, I'm going to use my gadgets to figure my way out of this situation or make this situation better. And so he almost became the moral compass.
Green Arrow did?
Yeah, for the Justice League. And I love that. Because in the comic books, he's really not a moral person. Which is really odd, but I'm a big fan of Green Arrow anyway.
Yeah, cool.
So that ran for 2 seasons as well. Let's see. So outside of just the art style, the music, love the song. The theme song to the original season was awesome. Then they come out with Justice League Unlimited and threw like electric guitar to it, and it's just like
same song but with electric guitar, or a totally different song.
It's a totally different song.
Yeah.
It's similar, but it just like gets y'all revved up right before the cartoon comes on.
So is that a good thing?
Was for me.
Okay.
I like to be revved up.
Yeah. I can see why they picked Jason Momoa to play Aquaman, because that looks exactly like Jason Momoa.
Now Aquaman, that was okay. So in the comic book, so I thought it was awesome that they went this route where he lost his arm, because in the comic books at that time he lost his arm, but he didn't just lose his arm; he also lost his child. In the comic books. In the cartoon, he lost his arm because he was saving his child. He was willing to cut off his arm to save his child.
Cool.
Which and what they did was, so Aquaman was, I'm wearing orange tights. This was before Jason Momoa. Then they made this guy, and this guy was a brute. This guy was brute. This guy was tough, and this was the Aquaman I always wanted to see. This guy, in my opinion, is Jason Momoa was badass.
Yeah.
This is a bad,
Even more badass.
oh,
Cool.
badass Aquaman. So anyway, as far as merchandise,
Well, first of all, out of all the Justice League, what's your favorite character? And I know Batman's your favorite character, so what would be?
okay, so Green Arrow.
Green
So
Arrow?
Out of the 7, Batman.
Yeah.
Out of the whole cast, Green Arrow.
Yeah. And who's your least favorite character?
Elastic Man.
Elastic Man?
Yeah, they never made. As far as I know, they didn't make
Make
just
a
because-
figure of him?
because I can stretch.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
unless you're doing a slingshot with or something, I'm not impressed.
That would be kind of cool to stretch, though.
Yeah, well,
Just saying. All right, but go ahead.
so anyway, as far as merchandise, of course you had posters and stuff like that, but they did the smaller figures first, and then they eventually moved it into these. What is this? 8-inch?
Yeah, it
8-inch
looks.
figures.
Yeah, maybe 10-inch.
Yeah, probably 10-inch.
Yeah.
And so
That's what she said.
he asked me before the show, is there any of these 10-inch I don't have? I'm thinking that they had made a Stargirl,
Yeah.
and but don't hold me on that.
I won't.
Y'all can let me know in the comments if there was a Stargirl, but I'm pretty sure that I have all the 10-inch characters that they made.
Which was the hardest one to get?
The hardest one to get was actually Martian Manhunter,
Yeah.
and not just in the 10-inch. For me, it was.
Yeah.
And not just in the 10-inch, but in the 6-inch,
Yeah.
because this is the Martian Manhunter who actually had a rubber body that went over top of him to make him look like that, which really is like the second version.
Yeah. In the first episode that I watched, because you said you were going to do Justice League,
Right.
he looked like this.
Right.
Yeah, looked like this. Which, that's really dorky. That's kind of cool. But yeah, that's kind of.
Well, that's his Martian form.
You
This
know.
is his earthly form.
I bet you on Mars, though, he'd be really hot. But yeah, and on Earth, he looks kind of dorky.
Look at that sharp head. So let's see. Any questions?
Any questions? Let's
I don't
see.
think I forgot
Do you have a favorite episode or story arc?
My favorite story arc would probably be.
Let me guess. Because was it when Superman died, or they thought he was dead?
No.
No. Okay, I
No.
was wrong.
So they've done different stories and a lot of the cartoons they got smart. Instead of trying to fit a story into a 24-minute, because most episodes was only 24 minutes, and they would divide up a story amongst 2 episodes.
Yeah.
So there was always 2. So there was an episode where Batman Beyond, the future Batman,
Yeah.
realized that he was actually a clone of Bruce Wayne. And so the head of cabinets, Amanda Waller, was explaining to him why they couldn't be without a Batman. And so there was a scene where there was this young girl named Ace, and she could warp reality. And Batman agreed to go in and basically kill her.
Oh yeah.
That's what they was expected.
Yeah.
But that's not what he did. He went in there and stayed with her until she passed away of natural causes. And that was just like, okay, so you're used to adventure kind of stuff,
Yeah.
and to see Batman sit on a swing with a little girl, it was
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah.
yank at them heartstrings a little bit harder, would you?
So how many times do you think you watched each one of these episodes?
I don't know.
I mean,
I'd say quite a few. I probably rewatched them at least every episode at least 3 times.
Yeah.
Some episodes more than others.
Now everybody's got a streaming service. I'm assuming, does WB have a streaming service now? Or is it HBO Max?
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, but I'm a big fan, like you, of physical copies.
Right.
Where you can watch it anytime you want, and you don't have to pay a streaming service to watch it. And but they're really cutting down on. I think there's almost an attack on physical copies. And the reason being is because they want you to pay that streaming service price,
Right.
so that you can rewatch things. But let's say you purchase these, and let's say you spend $20 for a season. you know, if you watch him 4 or 5 times, I mean, just think of the value
Right.
that you had out of that. Whereas you play for a streaming service every month, and you know, you may watch it sometimes, and sometimes you won't. I'm a big fan of physical copies. I'm not a big fan of the whole streaming, digital download stuff, but anyway, so thanks for schooling me on Justice League.
No problem. So, we're like we normally do. We're going to have a giveaway,
Cool.
and it is Justice League related.
Awesome.
I have this Justice League Batman bike.
Ooh, let me see.
These little things
yeah.
flip up here.
Yeah, where'd it come from?
Probably Walmart, knowing me.
Walmart. Yeah.
I don't know if Mattel made these or who made them.
Yeah.
But
So that's the Bat Cycle.
That's the bat. It never was in the cartoon.
I never was in the cartoon.
Never was in the cartoon, but it was sold as a Justice League toy.
Cool.
So we have that, and the first 75 years of music of DC Comics. So it has every show, as far as like the original Superman, the original Lois and Clark, even the Justice League cartoon theme song. It has a theme song for just even the old Wonder Woman thing. So you get all the music of DC for the first 75 years.
Cool.
And this, and all you have to do is be a subscriber, like, and comment.
Yes. Please do.
And since we're talking about giveaways, the winner of our last giveaway, which was our anime stuff, was Logan Cornett.
All right, Logan. If you'll contact us and give us your mailing address, we'll get that.
Our email address will be in the
it'll be in the description below. And as Rob said, please hit that subscribe button and hit that like button. And I guess we'll try to get together and do this again in a month, right?
Right.
All right, man. You done?
I think I'm done.
All right, man. We're done.
Yeah.